Hi you guys, so welcome to today's video. We are going to be doing a tutorial, but before I get into that, you're going to hear a lot of background noise because I am back in my usual filming space where I have a desk to put my makeup products and I have my lights on, but this is also the room that my rabbits are in, and right now they're going to town on a box, shredding it to pieces, and they just threw the box over. So that is the noise that you hear in case you are new. Those of you who've been watching my videos for quite some time, you're probably already accustomed to hearing them at some point throughout the video with their running, chattering, chewing, and scratching things. It's what they do. They're in their own world, and I'm just kind of taking a little corner space of their area. So it is what it is. But today I wanted to do a full face tutorial because I haven't actually done one in a while. And Thanksgiving is right around the corner, you guys. I can't even believe it. It's just days away. And I'm really excited for this holiday season. I am in the spirit of Christmas. I have already put out a few Christmassy things at home, and I have already made plans of where I want to put the tree, and I'm going to obviously share that with you guys on Snapchat, so don't forget to follow me there if you're interested in seeing that. But this season, there's so much to be thankful for every season, every year. You guys are definitely one of those things that I'm very thankful for and grateful. So I just wanted to say thank you for being you and for being here before we get into the video, and just letting you know how much I appreciate you, the time that you've taken to watch, and also the time that you put into my channel for watching the videos over the months, years, however long you've been with me, and for always being supportive and kind. And I cannot tell you how far that goes with me and how much that means to me that I have received an outpour of love and kindness from you guys, even when I've been absent on my channel. Definitely not an intentional leave of absence. It just sort of happened that way. But don't worry, because I am going to be posting my personal life update very soon, probably in the next week and a half, just kind of depending on how it goes with these videos. So hope the lighting is good to go. I had to make some adjustments. I'm hoping that it doesn't look too bad. But we're going to start off with some face stuff. Now I have my makeup bag. It's ridiculous. Let me just show you because I can't even close this thing. This thing is so incredibly full that I can't zip it up. There's so much junk in there. I need to do a declutter. And I also have this little box. Do you guys remember when I bought this set in August during a surprise kind of VIB thing? This is full, let me show you, of minis, sample sizes from sets, skincare products, things that I've gotten from my Sephora favorites over the last couple months. I've just thrown everything that I have not even used in this box to organize it and hopefully grab some pieces from this for today's video. So I'm going to go in with some primer, trying to finish this up. This is the Hangover Primer from Too Faced. I just take a big old glob like so and massage it all over. And I do this rather quickly. I'm not going to slow down or speed up the video in any form. I'm just going to do it just like I would if I was in my bathroom, my master bath, not my son's room, getting myself ready for the day. And I just kind of zip zap through all these things. Going in with some of this, the camera ready. I'm not a super huge fan of this. I bought this last year, November, during the VIB sale. And I bought it because I had the concealer, or purchased both of them together. My sister really raved about the concealer. So I thought, let me try this. It's very lightweight. It comes with a dropper. I will show you how thin these drops are. It's like the consistency of water. It's very, very lightweight. If you use a beauty sponge, you're going to get a very sheer coverage with this. But if you use your fingers, like I'm going to do today, mostly, because I am going to use a sponge eventually, you will get some more coverage out of it. If you use your fingers, it's messy because it's so thin. It kind of slips through the cracks of your fingers. And it's just kind of a mess. But it does kind of make a difference and makes everything look nice and even, because I do have a lot of redness in my skin. But what I was going to say when I talked about not being, too thrilled with it, it's one of those products where you kind of have to, prime underneath, because even though it's so thin and sheer, it does have some pigment to it, especially if you do use your fingers, and it will grab on to any areas that are kind of dry. And I don't know, and I don't want to say that it's entirely that product, because if you have dry skin, flakes, anything like that, and you put foundation on over it, whether powder, cream, or liquid, it's going to cling on to those dry flakes. So I can't really say, oh, the product is terrible because of that. it's just kind of not really, I don't know. It's just not like my favorite. So I've been using the Morphe sponge. I bought this from the Morphe store in Vegas at the, I think it's the Mile Shops or something like that. Really enjoy it, gets the job done, and I like the fact that it's affordable. And I just like to kind of press it. It's still kind of damp. But I use this to kind of ensure that I have gotten everything blended and that I don't have any streaks from my fingers. So I'm going to step away from the Tatcha stuff that I always use for my under eyes, and I'm going to use the Smashbox BB Cream Eyes. This also has an SPF. This is SPF 15. Don't really care for the packaging, but we're going to get over it. And I'm going to go ahead and apply it. I still have some, I feel like I have rabbit fur. I do. I have smudge liner from last night. Yeah. I obviously didn't do a very good job at cleaning my makeup, or taking my makeup off. So I use a tip of the sponge to kind of blend this in. And this does blend in quite nicely. Now this look that I'm going to do is very me. I'm not going to do anything crazy that's not true to who I am as far as keeping it simple, easy. I'm a mom. I don't have time for that, especially since this is going to be my Thanksgiving kind of glam look. I want it to be something I can do really quickly in the mornings, take a shower, look put together, so that I can get into the kitchen and start cooking and doing, you know, our food plans that I have with my family, and not have to worry about, you know, finding a time to put makeup on or, you know, whatnot. Does that make sense? Like, you just want it to be just easy and effortless, and that's what it's going to be for this video. So I'm going to take a little bit of the concealer from here, and I'm going to take the sponge and then go over this little breakout that I have here. Actually, I should probably use my finger for that. And cover this up. And I got the Hoola in one of my Sephora favorites, so that's what I've been using. Let me grab my brushes. And I just use my e.l.f. complexion brush. This is a $3 brush. I reach for this more than my other more expensive brushes. It's just really great. Soft, gets the job done. And if you get too much, I always kind of go back with my beauty sponge and fix it. For blush, I'm going to use one of my all-time favorite, my go-to. This is the LORAC one. It's the Buildable Matte in the shade called Tinge. And for blush, I always like to use the Taper Highlighting 941 brush from Delium Tools. I did a video when these first launched. They sent me the whole collection, and they're really good quality, very affordable brushes. This one I like for highlighting, but I've also been using it for blush. So what I'll do is just kind of take a little bit of blush, tap off the excess, and then just quickly dust that onto the apples of my cheek. I need to do brows, but I'm going to set my face first with the All Nighter because I think I'm done with most of the powder products except for highlighter. I have the Becca Champagne Pop Skin Perfector, again a mini that came in a kit. And the Champagne Pop is a color that I think goes with everything. It doesn't really matter what you have going on with the eyes. I think it's going to be very complementary to a lot of eye looks. It's got a really nice, pretty kind of golden-y feel. See that? Pretty. So pretty. And I'm using a Morphe E8 brush to apply that. I'm going to go right under the brow as well, and then just a little bit through the temple area. And I've been using more highlighter over the last like month or so because my skin has been a lot drier, and I'm not producing a lot of oil, so I feel like I can go a little bit crazy and maybe put a little bit through the forehead, maybe a little bit on the chin. You know, if I get it on my blush, I'm not, you know, going crazy and trying to figure out how to get it off. I feel like I'm able to kind of venture out the lines. And it's just my skin is dry. The temperature is really cold here in Colorado, so that's probably what is to blame. Okay, so for brows, I have really one thing that I've been using, the Milk Makeup, the Kush Fiber Brow Gel. This stuff is amazing. I use the shade in Brunette. I'm going to do this, and then we're going to get on with the eyes. Alright, so now I'm just blending in a little bit of the NARS primer. I'm trying to use up whatever's left. There's not much in this little sample size that I got in my Sephora favorites, but I do like this primer, and I've used it before in the past, and it gets the job done. I also like the Urban Decay one as well. There's one by NYX that I think is supposed to be a dupe for this. The waterproof one, maybe? There's one of them by NYX that is exactly identical to that. Alright, so I was thinking about what I could use palette-wise for this video. You guys know I use palettes, or if you're new to the channel, I don't use a lot of singles. I think that's just way too much. I'd rather buy palettes, have all the colors laid out in front of me, and not really have to bother with a bunch of singles just kind of floating all over the place. I've been using the Jaclyn Hill Vault palette off camera since I purchased it, and I've done variations of simple looks, a little bit more dramatic, smoky looks. Some of them might be just used for the eyeshadows as liner, and so today I wanted to do something a little bit more with some color, maybe some kind of smokiness, but keep it kind of simple and easy that you could do if you're going to do something like this right before the holidays or the day of Thanksgiving, maybe even Christmas coming up soon, or you get invited somewhere last minute and you just don't want to do full glam lashes and all that kind of stuff. It's a look that kind of gives you hopefully an idea of what you could do. Definitely something that I enjoy on a regular basis, keeping it simple. I'm going to start with the Morphe E22 brush, which looks like this, really simple blending brush. And I'm going to take the color called Poof. This is from the Dark Magic palette, if you have it and you're following along. If not, it's just a simple color that matches my skin tone. There's nothing fancy about this, it's just matte skin tone color. And the whole point of this is to set that primer that I put on so that I don't have any areas where the shadow can kind of cling to the creaminess of that primer. Alright, and so I'm going to switch to my Real Techniques brushes. These I've been using quite a bit. They're dirty. Gotta wipe them down. But these are the Instapop shade brushes. It came in a set of 2. I think it was just 2. But they are cut at an angle, if you can see that from a distance. And I use the small one. I use the big one as well. The big one is really good just to do a quick swipe of product, like one shadow looks that I do all the time. The little one is really good for really packing on color. So I'm going to start with the larger of the 2, and I'm going to go in with the shade called Diversion from the Dark Magic palette, and it looks like this. It's a bit bronzy and kind of taupey, slightly cool. It's not super, super warm. You could do something very, very warm tone, but this is still got that kind of coolness running through it, but it still has that depth that I'm looking for to be kind of smoky yet simple and easy. And then I'm going to just start pushing this onto my lid. And you could use your fingers as well, but I'm going in lightly and then working it using the tip of that brush and kind of working that into the crease. And we'll kind of work on blending it out a bit here in a minute. I'm just following the rounded shape of my eye, and I'm doing just kind of like a half C shape with the brush, if you can tell what I'm doing, and it's just kind of wedging that color right into my crease. And I do this every time I do one shadow look, so there's not a space between my lid and the actual crease. And then I like to go in with a crease brush. It could be a small one like this one, or it could be a larger, fluffier one. This is the Morphe M501. I bought this when I was in Vegas, and I use it every time I do eyeshadow. It's one of my favorites. And I'm going to just kind of wedge this into my crease and start going back and forth to soften out those edges. And it doesn't really take much to really get these colors to soften. And what's cool about this color is that as you're blending it, it starts to pick up kind of some warmth. And you might be able to tell that it looks like there is some dimension there in the crease with possibly a different shade, but it's the one shade. So that's kind of why I love one shadow looks, because they're so, so easy. And what I'm doing right now is just kind of eliminating a tiny bit of fallout. It's not that big of a deal, honestly. I've had shadows that have performed worse for me, and it makes this whole area under my eyes look like a mess. But this is not bad. And that's just one look, or one shadow. And it looks like I took and added quite a few different shades. Like, It looks a little bit darker out here, a little bit lighter in the inner corner. It has some kind of warmth that you would not expect when you swatch this. It's a bit more on the cooler side than your traditional like bronzy coppery type of tones, which I've done before, looks like that, or with colors like that before, and they look just as beautiful. But I like this, and it adds a smokiness and depth to the eye without being crazy and dramatic, without using black eyeshadow. So I'm going to take the same shadow, and I'm going to put that on the lower lash line, but I'm going to use the MAC 219, which is a pencil brush. Something that's more detailed and precise would work for this, and I'm just going to, again, smush it in the product and tap off some excess. And I'm going to start quite thick on this outer part of the lower lash line and make sure that it connects. I can't even talk. Make sure it connects to this outer part here. And taper it into this inner part. Not going in all the way, but I also want it to be kind of smoky all the way around, if that makes sense. Now, if you wanted to, you could also add some extra color to it. I like the color in the same palette called Shh. And it looks like that. It's just a very basic tan brown with that same brush. And then I'm going to go right underneath. And if you wanted to, you could definitely take that color right through the crease as well. Super easy. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my liner. I do have one in my makeup bag that I really like. If you want like a brown pencil liner, I would recommend the Inglot Kohl Pencil number 03. Again, I bought this when I was in Vegas. Really creamy, and it's a chocolatey brown. It gives you some kind of playtime if you want to smudge it with your finger or a brush. Love that. Very cream, but I think I'm going to go with black. Let's just make more of a statement with some liquid liner. So I'm going to use my Kat Von D. I have the Marc Jacobs, just the blacker. It's like a gel type of liner in a pencil form. And I'm going to tightline real quick. And so I'm going to bust out the other palette, the Bling Boss, the one that has like the purpley tones. I'm going to hold it upside down to show you. And I'm going to use this shade called Bling Bling. And it's a very shimmery, kind of metallic, icy pink color. And I'm going to use that in the inner corner just to kind of brighten things up. And if you were to dampen this shade, it would be so much more intense. But it has that sort of soft kind of pinky glow, which I think is really pretty. And I think what I want to do, because this doesn't really take a whole lot of time to do this step, I think I want to take some into this inner corner. Let's do it. Let's do it. Why not? Just to kind of lighten this up just a little bit. I think that's pretty. It adds a little something. If I were to dampen it, it would be like bam in your face, but then I would need to kind of ground it with some more dark shades because I think it probably would look a little bit weird. And honestly, who am I kidding? If I'm going to do this look before I do some cooking, I'm going to be in the kitchen cooking, sweating. My hair is going to be up in a ponytail. I'm wearing an apron. I'm going to have baking flour everywhere. So I don't got to impress anybody. You know, I'm just doing something cutesy. And that's actually a really pretty color. You know what I haven't tried is using that as a highlighter. So let's just try that and see what happens. I have the Morphe Y14 brush, which is good, and I thought it would be really perfect for highlighter, but honestly, it doesn't pick up a whole lot of product, maybe because it's super wispy, but I'm going to try it with this bling color. I did pick up something, and I'm going to put it right over the top. Oh, yeah. It added a bit of like an icy, kind of pearly pink finish to my face. Oh yeah, hey, okay. Go through here. And just take a bath in it too. Okay, so I'm going to do my mascara off camera because that is not very special and this video is quite long. I'm going to use the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. This is my go-to. This is what I use every day. I don't really deviate much from this. And then we're going to do the lips. So I'm going to slap this on my lashes and I'll be right back. Okay, so lip products. And I've got two that I'm going to do a swatch. This is it's called Kiss, but it's the Lip and Cheek Pencil. It's a matte finish. Both of these are matte. Looks like this. Really pretty. Kind of like a rosy pink, and then the Queen Bee Melted Matte. This is going to have a little bit more of a purpley kind of finish. But I do like these melted mattes from Too Faced. I think that they're very comfortable and easy to wear. But I'm going to try that other one first because I haven't used that brand's lip products yet. So I think it would be quite nice to try something different. So I'm going to take off my Sarah Happ lip slip. And the brand is Nudestix. I don't know if I told you that. Alright, so that is the color. It seems like it's coming off quite bright on camera in the viewfinder, but in person it's more of a classic rose color. That's what I would say. Very rosy, pretty. It feels quite comfortable right now, and I did have a little residual lip slip, which is the lip balm from Sarah Happ that I love. So if my lips were a little bit more on the dry side, it probably would feel a little bit different. But this feels so far comfortable. I will have to report back on that because I've never used the Nudestix brand's lip products. But that is actually a really pretty color. It's called Kiss, and I will have everything listed down below. But I think it looks really pretty. I think it's a nice kind of pop of color. I also like the fact that it's a matte finish. Matte finishes tend to have more longevity than regular lipsticks and glosses, which is great for taking pictures for the holidays. It's great if you're doing toast, champagne toast, or having some beverages with your friends and your family, and just having a good time. You don't have to worry about it. It's sort of drifting, fading, and leaving nasty marks on your glass, which is quite nice. But they do need to be touched up, and you kind of need to check it to make sure it doesn't kind of flake or kind of fade in the very inner part of your kind of lip area, because it can look a little weird. But in general, they're really easy, low maintenance usually, depending on the formula. I will say formula does play a big role in that. I hope you enjoyed the look. I hope that you will try this out. If you do, let me know if you recreate it, and if you have any suggestions for more tutorials in the future, please let me know in the comment section. I do appreciate you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys have a very, very happy Thanksgiving, and I'm wishing you all the best to you and yours, from my family to yours, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.